We were in South Florida politics for a while, and we knew that it's just kind of one of those lost causes. And you're seeing a couple of prime examples of that now, with Sheila Cherfilus-McCormack being found guilty of over 20 counts of various forms of fraud, money laundering, if you will. And now the question is she going to get kicked out of Congress? And on the one hand, I think without question that she did do what she did. And the biggest reason I think she's going to go down is not simply because she took the money and used it to win a congressional seat. She did take the money and then she went out and bought a 6-figure diamond ring and flashed it all over, Capitol Hill. It's like when you start doing that shit, that's the stuff that comes for you for.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed in Sheila. And
I actually don't know much about her. Sorry.
Okay. No, she's the congressperson, and she was running when I ran the first time in 20, and I knew her, and she didn't win that year, but then she won in a special election in 22 for that her same seat. And so I know her, Peter and I know her, we know people that work with her, and this is just really disappointing.
It's horrible.
It's just disappointing.
Yeah.
But that brings us to this sort of sub story of this story.
Okay.
Right? Is that where you're going to go? Do you want to talk about Sheila first, Peter? Do you want to?
Well, I mean, I am talking about her, aren't I?
Yeah, no. But where's that article? Because I gave. That's what I'm
grabbing
saying.
it 1 second.
Okay.
Well,
I was going to say that article.
Gotta roll with it.
Yeah.
1 sec.
Because then this connects to another very interesting story. Here it is.
Wow. That's a lot of ethics violations.
The vote came after a nearly 7-hour televised House trial. That's all it took. They were ready. Cherfilus-McCormack has denied any wrongdoing, of course, and pleads not guilty to criminal charges. She was also taking, I think, Ozempic for a while. She lost a lot of weight, and
she lost a lot of weight. You know what's so devastating about this? Like what this does to the Haitian community.
She's the first elected Haitian in the history of Congress.
Yeah, I mean that. And how was she politically? Like, was she good? I don't know.
Very moderate, but at the end of the day, she probably would have been a pretty decent congresswoman if she wasn't caught up in scandal. Because of the fact that she got caught up in scandal, she started saying very, very favorable things about Israel.
And that is very upsetting. That was when she basically kind of stopped.
Right.
For responding to me. I texted her. I said, I know you're not this. She was already in Congress, and all this stuff happened. And I said, I know that this is going to come up for you, but please understand this is, my perspective. She's gone. She's gone.
Then apparently she was spending a lot of money on security detail and got a bunch of fancy SUVs. This is the type of shit that they do. This is what these people do. They get into federal office and they think they're like a kid in a candy shop. And they could do whatever the hell they want. And this is the same thing that they did with Alex, with Maxwell Frost. They get him in there. I remember when they took Alex and Maxwell on that all expenses paid trip to the Far East, took them into Japan and China, gave them a 5-star treatment trip all over, Tokyo and Beijing. And it's like, what do you think is going to happen?
Of course.
It's a simple conversation after it's all said and done.
Yeah.
It's like you got your first major studio role. Universal decided to take you on. Yeah. Leila, we could get you under contract to give you 5 movies, but you have to understand.
Yeah.
I think it's sad. It's sad because she was doing good things for the Haitian community and helping I don't know. It's just disappointing. So do you want to read this article?
I'll breeze through it real quick, but essentially,
you can. I think if you go, is there something at the end that it talks about the ethics violations, or is this just a short article? I think it might. Just be short.
There's some stuff in there, but basically, Cherfilus-McCormack has denied any wrongdoing, pleaded not guilty to the 25 charges. I look forward to proving my innocence. You already had a trial; you were found guilty.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna ask you to step down. Representative Greg Stelby of Florida, Republican, said Friday
she wasn't found guilty in a criminal trial. Okay.
No, but she was found she was found guilty of 25 ethics violations, which means that she is basically a sitting duck. And so in a post on X, Greg Stubbe, Republican of Florida, says he's pushing for procedure to expel Cherfilus-McCormack. Once makes recommendations about how to sanction her, the committee said it will hold a hearing after the House's 2-week spring recess to determine any possible sanctions, which could include censure, removal from committees, or expulsion. You can't crime your way into legitimate power. Maria Gluestenkamp Perez.
That's how they all get power. Come on now.
Of course. Now there's a little. Let me see. Okay, so
how shocking that Tupac or Apak Shakur didn't comment. He didn't comment when he was asked about whether or not she should stay in Congress because he has the same Zio donors. So.
Of course, in 2023, the House expelled then Rep. Jewish George Santos in a bipartisan 311 to 114 vote, making him the first House member in modern history to be expelled before federal conviction. The Justice Department indicted Cherfilus-McCormack in November on charges that she stole and laundered $5 million in federal emergency management agency funding. Her family's healthcare company, Trinity Healthcare Services, had been working with FEMA through a COVID-19 contract, but then received a $5 million overpayment. She was supposed to receive $50,000. They added 2 zeros and she got $5 million. That's what happened. It was an actual typing error.
I want that to happen for me.
No, you don't. Look what happens.
I know. Just a couple zeros.
Yeah, but I think this is the whole thing that Debbie initiated, right? This is the whole thing that Debbie Wasserman Schultz initiated.
She could face 50 years if convicted, yes. And so Wasserman Schultz apparently, from my intel, is that she was the one pushing for this behind the scenes because she absolutely hated Sheila. Hated her with the passion of 1,000 birds.
Right.
Because Sheila had the audacity to run for Congress before Alcee Hastings died for that seat.
Oh my God.
And that was what always pissed her off because they thought they were going to get to choose. And Debbie had been voting for Alcee.
Debbie was breaking federal law repeatedly. She always breaks federal law. But she was deliberately breaking federal law by voting on behalf of Alcee Hastings. She did it for 2 congressional terms. Yeah, she was casting his vote. He was never there. He was basically hospitalized with cancer treatment. That's what he was doing until he died.
Wait, how was she allowed to do that?
Because she's above the law.
They do that. They vote for.
She's above the law. That's all.
Oh yeah.
It's not a conspiracy. It's what it is.
Yeah.
So then this comes to a local story, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. No one's going to know who this lady is, but
no one's going to know who she is. And that's not necessarily the point right now of this. So a few days ago, the vice mayor of Coral Springs, sitting commissioner, was murdered in her home by her husband. Well, allegedly by her husband. So this is, and the reason that this is relevant is that Nancy Mateer, who is the woman who was just murdered, was planning on running for Sheila's seat.
At their home, Nancy Bowen was.
Oh, this is a video? I just wanted an article.
No, I'm not trying to do the video. Here's the thing. If you try to go and look at any articles today, if you're not going through the paywall, they will plaster the shit out of your page with relentlessly. Yeah. This is the thing about, what should happen.
Yeah, so anyway. But this is the story. This is the one I think that references Moskowitz.
So
are you familiar with Representative Moskowitz?
I am. We had Oliver Larkin on the show and got to play a few clips of Moskowitz to show what we could be getting rid of. Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to read it? I mean, I don't care.
Like, sure.
I don't really care. Coral Springs Vice Mayor Nancy Mateer Bowen's body was found by police who were conducting a wellness check, according to a statement from the city. The Coral Springs Police Department has initiated an investigation. Her husband, Stephen Bowen, was arrested following preliminary investigation, adding that it was determined the incident was a domestic in nature and there were no additional suspects. Ugh. Listed him as in custody. Keep scrolling. I want to get to the part about her being like planning on that, running for that seat. Yeah. Okay. So before becoming vice mayor, she was the first Black and Haitian American female commissioner of Coral Springs, first elected in 2020, blah, blah, blah. So, and also the backstory behind this, Leila, is was part of this group of mean girls in Broward County Dem politics that were so mean and so bad to me when I ran. And there's like this mean clique of girls. So that's just all part of it. She was an environmental scientist, blah, blah, blah. All right, keep going. This is where it gets interesting. I thought this was the thing about, was this not the article that mentioned how Moskowitz was supporting
I don't
her?
know. Did you send it to Colin? Because I had to grab
did, and I did look through that. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Yeah, this is all about this Here it is. Keep going. Here it is. She had such a future. Lawmakers around the state expressed condolences and shock at the death of the beloved vice mayor while praising her leadership. This will be like accolades from the Mean Girls group out the yin yang.
Yeah.
Florida Democratic Party Chair Nikki Fried said in a Wednesday statement that it was with a broken heart and profound grief that the Florida Democratic Party mourns the sudden and horrific death of our beloved Vice Chair Nancy Mateo-Bowen. Just days ago, I spoke with Nancy. Just 2 weeks ago, I held her in a hug at our party's leadership summit, never imagining it would be one of our last moments together. And again, this is horrible. I'm not suggesting this is not horrible.
Right.
Now you want to talk about a insane Zio scum of the worst kind. Nikki Fried is
exactly.
Boca, bratty, privileged Jewish woman, pro-Israel.
Exactly. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Here it is right here. Keep scrolling. Representative Jared Moskowitz said on social media that he was in shock after learning about her death. I was just with her on Saturday. She just buried her brother. She was about to announce she was running for Congress, he wrote. Nancy was one of the nicest people I worked with, always fighting for her community, always pushing to help. She has such a future. This is terrible. So first, I'm going to finally get to show the Zio pussy graphic that I have been wanting to show for a very, very long time. Behold, everybody, the Zio pussy. That is Representative Moskowitz.
He is awful. Truly awful.
So anywho, this is who was saying how nice she was. And here's the thing, and I always say this when people are, if you have nothing good to say about the dead, say nothing, they're dead good. This is one of those people. I don't care what these people say. This woman got one of my closest friends fired and then lied about it. These people in the Democratic Party in Florida are snakes. I told Oliver Larkin this when he was on our show. I even specifically mentioned Nancy Mateo. Yeah. And said I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her.
Yeah.
So that's why all of this is so interesting, because Oliver Larkin was asking about some of these people in that in local politics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not to be trusted. And
I can't imagine they would go near him because he's very vocal about being anti-genocide and calling out names specifically, unlike some other people who are in power.
Yeah, but this is what you also have to remember about politics in general. And we saw this for years with Wasserman Schultz. It doesn't matter if people agree with them politically. What matters is, can they help me climb the ladder? Can they help me maintain a position of influence and power? Right. And so whether it is Nancy Mateo or any of her cohorts that were involved in Broward politics, they went about getting power in a very almost volatile kind of way.
Yeah, it sounds.
There was an incident that took place with her group and myself when I was clipping B-roll footage for Jen's TV ad. When I was the congressional manager for her back in 20, I basically wore every hat. And so one of the hats that I wore was the digital side. And so we would put these ads together. And it just so happened that again, I'm sure you've done ads. I'm sure you know how quickly things can flip. It's 0.8 seconds in some instances. The person's in a clip. So it just so happens on one B-roll shot, one of those girls was in the shot.
In the background. At a festival. Like it was a public event.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with the ad. Like
Right.
nothing just
Right.
happened to have flashed across the screen.
Right.
Well, this person proceeded to make a post online talking about how this is the most terrible thing that's ever happened to her.
And how
Like,
she supports Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And these are
very
supposedly
proudly said
progressives.
supports Wasserman Schultz.
It's disgusting.
And the way that they were talking about Jen and how she's a disgusting human and all this stuff. So I came onto her thread and I said, I did it. I put you in that ad by accident. If you're going to get mad at anybody, please get mad at me. Because if there's one thing people know about me, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I do not let this stuff get to me at all. And if you want to call me names, which they certainly did, they called me a white supremacist and a patriarchy guy and all that
they
shit.
did, right.
He's a misogynist, you know.
Yeah. And my attitude is you all need to get laid. That's basically what your problem is. And they did what they did, but unfortunately, you know, again, I don't
Did you remove that? Did you remove that clip?
I didn't remove the clip, but I cut her
Spliced her
out.
out. Yeah.
And so
that's so lame. God.
They were so ridiculous.
That's the type of stuff.
So ridiculous.
That's the type of stuff that they would do. And then they would go to these events and they would get decked out like it was the grand ball of a lifetime.
Because they're public servants.
There was one girl in particular in the group who was really, really bad to Jen. And she was so bad, but I always said, just remember something. She's so unlikable that she couldn't get elected dog catcher. That's how unlikable a person the McDonald's fries would be. That's
I know who you're talking about.
And so this is to me an example of, if you're angry at you hate yourself and then you want to project it onto other people, that's your shortcoming. If you want to take it out on me, that's fine, because it doesn't bother me. But when you are in politics for the purpose of tearing people down so that you can get a leg up, that is a very common practice. And what will not be talked about, and again, rest in peace, Nancy. I didn't have interactions with you. In fact,
no, I'm not celebrating the death.
I was at an event with her and her husband, and we sat across from each other like the entire time. And the amazing thing about what happens in life, and it reverts back to things like psychopathy, sociopathy, narcissism. You don't know when you're standing or interacting with people that have those traits, that are capable of doing those things. And so what my religion is, if you want to call it that, is the karmic alignment of the universe. What you put out into the universe.
Are you insane? Who are you? What have you done with my partner? I'm the one who told you about the karmic alignment of the universe. What are you talking about?
You really have a habit of not letting me finish what I'm saying. So can I please finish?
I can't believe you said karmic alignment of the universe. I'm sorry.
What you put out into the universe is generally what you're going to get back. And if what you give out to the universe is, I'm going to crush people by any means necessary. And if you're going to share with somebody that you're not just sharing with anybody that you're running for Congress. And of course, the common theme here is that Sheila Cherfilus-McCormack is a wounded animal, and I'm going to step on her now because, she's involved in scandal. But the person that she's going and seeking advice from is one of the most proud, hardened, Zio scum suckers in all of Congress. That this is the person that I'm affiliating with, and I am one of only 2 elected Haitian representatives in South Florida. And this, although I think Chevron Jones might be Haitian, I could be wrong about that. The point is, you cannot look back on what you've done, dead or alive, and say that what you did was good and just, when you know quite well that if those are the people that you're affiliating with, whether it is Debbie Wasserman Schultz or Jared Moskowitz, those people are scum. They're beyond scum. They are genocide enablers, frankly. They are genocide co-conspirators, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. They're complicit. Absolutely, they are.